I had family members that I seen with my own two eyes have nervous breakdown.
Okay.
And you talking about, it's almost like a monster. You know, when somebody have a nervous breakdown, you don't even know who they are. They don't know themselves.
That's what I was going to say. They don't even know who they are.
And as a kid, when I was a kid, seeing that, I was like, well, what could be so bad that happened?
Yeah.
You know, but when you're a kid and you don't know, like I say, with my grandmother, she kept me away from all the adult stuff as a kid.
Yes.
So I was like, what's going on? You know, but they was going through some major adult stuff.
Major things.
You
Life
know,
was happening.
Facts.
Life was hitting them
It's
hard.
facts. That's the facts. And so I guess coming up the way I came up, when I seen that, I learned a lot of things. Well, I ain't gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You know, I ain't gonna try that because I don't like the way that's going. You know, so I think, you know, seeing that and witnessing that, and then getting older and hearing what actually happened. Okay, now I can go down this road over here.
Gotcha.
I can take a different. I can not go down that wrong way, go down this right way over here.
Okay.
know?
Okay. So those moments, man, when you have those moments where your load is too heavy, what do you normally do, man? What's your exercise or what's your practice that you do when your load gets heavy?
Well, first of all, I do that mirror check.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I do that mirror check, man, because that's important for me. Because every obstacle or disappointment I went through, I can say most of the time I did it.
Wow, that's huge, bro.
I did it to myself because
that's self accountability, bro.
When I was out there in them streets, I was by myself, so I couldn't say, "Why you do that, man?"
Yeah.
Because I'm pointing at myself.
That's right.
You know,
that was my decision.
Yeah, because that's another thing. You know, I didn't have a finger to point at somebody. Man, you made me do that.
Yeah.
I made myself do that.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And becoming a teenager and then a young teenager, having so much freedom. Mm-hmm. You know, it kind of like, I can do this. If I get in trouble, I'll handle it.
Yeah.
But not knowing the repercussions when I got grown, I got an answer for that now.
Yes.
I got an answer for that now.
Consequences, like you said, do's and don'ts, and the consequences.
Yeah, I have an answer for that now. So now, I just don't try to put that weight on no more.
Okay.
If I can get away with not carrying it, I won't carry it.
Yeah, that's
right. I kick it out the way.
There you go.
I walk around it.
Man, I say this all the time to my wife, man, when we're talking about things, issues with the kids and stuff, right? When the kids was growing up, you had to give them all your attention,
100%.
You had to give them all your energy, whatever they needed, right? Because that's what they needed, giving them your energy. But as adults, now that the kids are making their own decisions and they're doing their own thing, right? A lot of those decisions that they make, they bring the consequences on themselves, right? So now I get to decide how much energy I give it.
That's correct.
So when they call me and say, hey, Dad, I got a problem. I say, okay, let me hear the problem. Okay, this is going on, that's going on. Maybe I can help you, maybe I can't, If I can help you, okay, this is what I can do for you. But like, again, I still get to decide how much energy I'm going to give it, right? So I give it whatever energy I think. And sometimes I say, man, I tell my wife, we got to help them out. They need, the kids need so-and-so. Let's help them out. Let's help them do this. Let's help them get to this point. And then sometimes I say, hey, cut the light off. We're going to sleep. I'm not giving it no energy.
Right.
Because you brought it on yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So that right there goes back to you adding weight and you taking weight off.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
See, when kids come adults, because like I told my sons, I can't call my mom and dad now and be like, I got in trouble. What you gonna do about it? They gonna hang the phone up.
That's right. They said, man, Tim done lost his
Yeah, they
mind.
gonna hang the phone up, because their generation, that's their generation.
That's right.
They were like, well, if you was dumb enough to go do it, you dumb enough to sit there in it.
There you go.
My mom, when I was a kid, my mom always told me, I ain't coming to jail to get you, boy. That's stuck in my head.
All the time.
So when I took my vacation,
Yeah.
when I took my vacation, right?
Only no sense in calling her.
I ain't calling. But I tell you what, God is my witness. When I walked, and they say you free from your vacation, you can go back to your regular life. My mom was in the parking lot.
I heard that.
I don't know how she found out, found out. But when I walked out there, all she did was just shake her head. So she had to say no more. She had to say no more. But the thing is going back to, we got to understand how much weight we want to put on our shoulders, because kids can, once they get grown, they can add extra stress to your marriage, to your health. If you allow their mistakes to enter.
Man, you better believe it, man.
Just like when my youngest son, when he got shot. Now, that was a moment that I tell people in my church. I had to make a split decision that very moment.
Okay.
I got a phone call. I looked at it. I said, man, I got to go to work in the morning, man. I looked at the phone. I seen it was my ex-wife calling for the. I looked at it. I said, well, I found out what's going on in the morning. Call back. I said, uh-oh. I looked at it, called back, answered. She said, Jeremy was shot. The only thing came to my mind, I said, is he dead? She said, no. I sat on the side of the bed. The old me wanted to go in my closet, get the heavyweight stuff, and go on the block.
I'm on my way. Yeah.
I sit on that bed. The old me wanted to do that. Because I did that when my cousins got shot. Even when I was married, the wife was like, don't you go out there. I said, that's my family.
Yeah, I got it.
Took off.
Yeah.
Didn't think about my kids, didn't think about my wife.
That's right.
Got the phone call, gone. Going on the block, see what's going on with my family, right? But at that particular moment, when she said he was not dead, I sat on that bed, I said, God, what you want me to do? What you want me to do? I can't go out there and shoot nobody, shoot people up and all that.
That's right.
So
it's gonna be bad for all of us.
My move, I laid back down and I put the covers on me and I went back to sleep. I got up the next morning, went to the hospital.
Yeah.
Because I had to think, because my pastor said, sometimes we one decision from a life-altering change.
Good God Almighty.
We one decision from a life-altering change.
One decision.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important for us to make good decisions as men, man.
Take the time to think about it.
I was gonna say, and take the time, man. And you touched on something earlier, man. You said, your grandmother taught you patience, right? And whenever those patience kick in, 10 times out of 10, it was the right thing to do. Once you let those patience kick in and say, okay, let me think about this. This is gonna be bad. This is gonna be bad for a lot of people if I do this,
Fast to think, slow to act.
Yes, man. And that's what you have to do, man. And you got to tell yourself that, bro. You got to tell yourself that constantly, man. I like what you were saying about, your pastor saying you're one decision away. Because it could be bad, bro. It could be a bad decision.
Because, you got to learn how to, you have to learn your own emotions.
Yes, you do.
And you have to learn to control them. Because that was a thing that when I was younger, I felt like I had a good heart. When people take advantage of, I'm going to show you that you took advantage of my good heart.
Yeah.
And that street side came out. And I had to tame that guy. Like, I told my granddaughters, because they getting older now. My oldest granddaughter, she almost 13 and growing up.
Yeah.
And I had to tell myself, and they be talking to me, and kids, man, they don't bite their tongue. You know, they was like, you know, Papa, we heard things about you, this and that. I say, that dude, he long gone.
He gone.
That dude long gone, you know. This dude, old guy you got right here,
Yeah.
that's it, you know. So, and you know, and some people can't even say that. We got some guys, they can't say that because they ain't here to say that.
That's right. They ain't
You
here.
know, so.
Or some men are still making bad decisions.
Correct.
You know, and
Correct.
that's another thing, man. You gotta, you know, pat yourself on the back and, you know what I'm saying, and be proud of that for yourself, that you're not that guy anymore, you know, because society has evolved. You have grown up, you know. Used to be a young man, now you're an older gentleman. You're more seasoned, you know, and you just don't think the way that you think no more. But some
like-
people still stuck there.
Yeah, but like I say, you know, having them older grandparents, man, because my grandfather, man, he always used to tell me, man. I mean, you know, he gave me and my cousin so much in a short period of time.
Okay.
Because I say this now, every time I'm with my grandsons, every moment is a teaching, learning moment.
Yes, it is.
Every moment.
Yes, it is.
So my grandfather poured that into us, man. You know, and he always said, look here. Ain't no man that don't look like you got your best interests at heart.
That's right.
You the only one got your best interests at heart.
That's right.
And I was like, whoa, this dude, old, you know, what?
Yeah.
You know,
You a
I'm a
kid.
kid,
Like,
you know.
man,
But
yeah.
he know his time was limited, and he had to
Yes.
pour everything he could.
He did,
You
man.
know.
He did. And we need more of that. We need more of those men in society now. Like you said, the teaching is gone now. Nobody wants to be the teacher anymore. You know, I'm sure your grandfather, he took pride in that. He had no problem being a teacher.
Absolutely.
No problem.
None,
He said, hey,
none.
look, man, this is what it is. Let me
None.
let you know. My dad, man, and you know, I don't know how old you were when your grandfather passed, but I was 10 when my dad passed away. And my dad used to say things in the house sometimes, and my mom used to say, hey, Joe, don't say that to them kids. And my dad used to say, I ain't telling them nothing wrong.
Yeah, there you go.
You know
there
what I mean?
Go.
And he took pride in letting his children know what was going on in the world, you know.
You have to, man. You know, because, you know, I'm a strong believer. Like when my sisters talk, they like, you know, I heard what you're saying, but you got a crazy way of getting there, right?
I got you.
You know, because you know, I tell my sisters all the time. I say, look here, you look at, you know, the animals out there. They don't have no technology like we do. Only thing they got is God direction.
Yes.
Right.
Instinct.
And they don't make mistakes.
They don't make. Yeah.
You see it, you know, when a storm comes, do you see animals all out in the street saying, where I'm gonna go at? It's raining. They have instincts, man, and that's something we losing. So I tell my sister all the time, I say, you know, when an animal of any species have babies, or, you know, from the time that baby comes out, that mother is teaching that young, whatever it is, how to survive.
Yeah.
Period.
That's right.
Period.
Period.
And that's what we got to do.
Teach
You
them.
know, we got to
Teaching them.
teach. We got to teach them everything we know and everything everybody else know for survival.
That's right. That's
For
right.
survival.
I love that, man. And, you know, and speaking of that, Wood, you know, man, I love teaching, man. I love teaching. I love to give people, you know, whatever I got, I give it to them, man. You know, mentally. You know, if I could teach somebody something, I'm teaching them, bro.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, see, that's a blessing. You know, that's a blessing because it was given to you, and then you giving it to someone else.
Absolutely,
You know, it's a blessing.
man. Absolutely, man. I totally agree, man. Hey, so, hey, Wood, I heard you say a couple times, man. I was talking to my sister, man. I was talking to my sisters, you know. Man, does talking to your sisters help you put you in a better mental space? Like, is that your outlet sometimes?
Yeah, you know, because like I say, I was raised by my grandmother. So my mom and I, we have like almost a brother-sister relationship.
Okay.
You know, so we talk all the time, my mother and my sisters, and because I got a strong bond with my sisters and my mother because my dad, he's so laid back, right? You know, he's not very vocal.
Okay.
Right? You know, you got to know somebody and know their actions to know what they're saying without saying it.
Okay.
All right, so that's how my dad is. I'm more vocal.
Okay.
me and my sisters talk. They'll call me, and I'm gonna protect them. I'm not gonna fight their battle, so to say, but I'm gonna get them information when they need information.
Okay.
And vice versa. So I think that is a safe space
Okay.
for me and them when
Man,
we
that's
talk.
dope, bro. That's dope.
It's a safe space because you need somebody and someone sometimes to be real with you.
You better believe it.
That's why, my closest homie, I don't need you to agree with me all the time. When I call you sometimes, I need you to be like, no, man, don't do that.
There you go.
That accountability is for real.
Accountability, bro.
It's for real.
And it's awesome, man, believe it or not, man. And just hearing you talk, I know you don't take it for granted just because you're speaking on it, right? But, you can't take for granted those relationships that you have where people are being real with you. People being real with you and they really love you. That's another thing, right? Talking to your family members and being able to like break down certain things that you're going through or what they're going through. If you're seeking advice or you're giving advice, either way, right? When it comes out of love, oh, bro, that's a whole different type of advice right there.
And and another thing, man, I would like to add to all that is we have to learn. When I say we, I include myself because there's always room for knowledge and learning
and growth. Yeah.
So I'm never not gonna listen to somebody when they talking to me or telling me something because if it's something I need or I can use, I'm gonna receive it. And if it's something I already know, I'm like, okay, I already know it. I'm just gonna put it in the Bama somewhere.
I got that.
But I'm gonna never get too big when I can't listen to somebody.
There you go, bro.
Never.
I like that, bro. I like that. Hey, Wood, do you know? We talked about self-examination a lot, right? Do you know what your biggest character flaw is?
Yes. I would have to say my heart and thinking that someone won't do me wrong.
Wow.
Because they're not gonna do me wrong because of my heart and what I would do for them. I think that's one of my biggest character. I say that because some people, you got to protect your heart.
Yes, you do. Yes, you
So
do.
so what I mean by that is, I'm giving a lot of my heart to something, and I'm not protecting it like I should because I'm thinking that this person should receive it and do back as I do.
That's right. That's right.
So I think that's one of my character flaws and having the heart I have and protecting it.
Man, that's crazy that you say that, but a lot of times people's biggest flaw, and this is one of my flaws as well, man, that you expecting you out of other people.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One of my coworkers say that all the time. He always say, because me and him, we're kind of like similar in mindset, right? Our mindset and our heart is very, very similar. And he says all the time, he say, man, the crazy thing is we expect ourselves out of other people.
Facts.
Yeah.
100% facts.
And a lot of times you end up getting wounded like that.
Right.
Say,
That's what I was saying,
Almighty,
learning how to protect your heart.
Yeah, I didn't know that was going to hit me like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then it always comes, you don't want to be mean, but people, we always got to remember, people are predators.
Yes, they are, man.
So when somebody can detect that, I hate to use the word soft, but when somebody feel like you got a fragile heart, they'll prey on that.
You better believe it.
They'll prey on the vulnerability of your fragile heart.
That's right. That's right. Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
People grab low-hanging fruit. It's easy to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. So, Wood, on a more positive note, man, do you know what your greatest character quality is?
I think I would have to say Never thought of it, but I had to say, just being able sometime to listen,
Okay.
to listen and receive something now, to receive information,
Okay. Okay.
and not running to use the information. Just receive it and use it for myself.
Okay. And that's a great quality to have, man. That's actually an awesome quality to have. We talk about self-examination and our qualities and our flaws and stuff, man. I read a book one time called Kingdom Man by Tony Evans.
Okay.
And in the book, Tony Evans talked about you saying who you are, what your flaws are, and what your qualities are is good. But what do your family think about you? What are the closest people to you? What would they say about you? And just kind of makes you pause and think for a minute.
I think about that, right?
Okay.
But I think about that in a two-part section, because sometimes a person can have his or her own flaw and try to project that on somebody else.
Yes.
So
yes.
before, like, I want somebody to ask me about me before you ask me about somebody else. Let me give you me first, and you can gauge when I talk about somebody else if I'm sincere or not.
That's right. Then you can consider the source.
Correct.
Yes.
So because I'm very, very particular when somebody speaks about somebody else, and I was like, what's the purpose of us going here?
Yeah.
Why we going here and talking about somebody else when you and I, we right here?
And what brought you to this point talking about somebody else?
So I mean, that's something I don't believe in, because even if you did me wrong, I'm good. So if we're gonna talk about somebody, why are we talking about them? Do you have a character flaw? Why are you talking about them?
That's right. That's right. That's right. And all that helps shape your opinion of it.
Right.
And like you say, you got to consider the source.
Yeah.
You got to consider the source.
Because people are they will reflect. They'll turn an issue around so it ain't on them. So the heat is off of them.
There you go.
Like I again, there go that mirror again. You self-check. I believe in that wholeheartedly, man. Because if you can't get nobody right if you ain't starting with self.
You got to start with self, bro.
I mean, I'm not a preacher, but I preach that all the time.
Yeah.
If you trying to fix somebody and haven't fixed self, you can forget it.
For sure.
You can forget it.
Man. You could have been a preacher though, bro.
Man, I got some testimonies, man.
You definitely got some testimonies.
I got some testimonies, bro. Man. Like I tell my sons, man. Like I was told. My dad. I always used to wonder when I was out there in them streets, man, how my dad would find out everything. Boy, I know what you're doing out there. You ain't making all that money by working on no job. I was like, this dude in the house all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't know my dad was a street dude like that, right? I didn't know how he moved like that, how he find out stuff.
He had his ear to the street.
But people, that's what I'm saying. People were relaying messages back to my dad, hey, I seen your boy out there. He was over there, doing what.
Yeah, that's right.
So he always had the scoop on me before I even knew he had the scoop.
Hey, that's something, man.
But that's how parents operate, though.
That's how they operate, bro.
Like I say, my mom and dad, they ain't raised me, but they were next door.
I got you.
They was looking. They was next door, watching, looking.
Yeah.
You
See what was going on in your life, man.
Yeah.
Because they cared about you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what we do as parents, because we care about our children and their well-being. So, we always got our ears. We got our ears open, we got our eyes open, seeing what's going on with them, man. And that ain't a bad thing at all, man. That ain't a bad thing at all.
So, and that's another thing, man. I think, man, I don't want to never get too religious where I can't connect with my people in the street, man.
Yeah.
I don't, because, when I was, in Pewsville and go to church with my grandfather, we went to New Hope Baptist. And I was like, oh, man, these people don't do no wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, they don't do no wrong. They better than Jesus.
Yeah, that was your
You know, I was
perception
like,
of them.
they better than Jesus. So, you know, when I started growing up and I started seeing how people hide stuff, you know, and that's another reason why people sometimes don't want to come to Christ, man, because they see how other people doing.
I was gonna
I
say,
don't want to do like you doing, you know. So I struggled with that for a long time, man, before I got saved.
I was going to
man.
ask you, did that deter you from the church, man?
For a while.
Okay.
For a while, because I was like, I don't want to be like that. I want to be real.
I want to be real.
You know, I want to be real.
Yeah.
You know, and cause you know, you see people in church and they acting a certain way, then you see them on the street like, oh,
They're a totally different person.
oh,
Yeah.
You know, so as a youngster growing up, that can like mess you up a little bit.
For sure.
You know, so when I got older and I started learning, I started reading for myself and getting information myself, I say, nah, okay, I can be real. I can be real with this.
You can be real.
I can be real with this. You know?
And you can serve God.
Correct.
Man, you can serve God. You can do your part. You can do your part serving God.
Yeah.
Building a relationship with God, and you can also be real to every individual that you encounter.
See, the thing about it too, when I got older and I got saved and I started reading, you know, I once again, I told my sisters, man, I have bought and read more books than I did when I was in high school.
Yeah,
man. I mean, and from K through 12.
Yes.
Right. And I was like, something happened here.
That's
I'm
right.
online buying books.
That's growth, man.
You know, and you know, I ain't even paid for my
buying
dues
books,
in
man.
high school. I'm buying books, and I'm talking about sitting down in the bed and reading them, put them on a nightstand.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I was like, you know, God, you doing something here, man.
For
I don't know
sure,
what
man.
you got going on, but you doing something here, man.
Hey, that's growth,
know,
man.
yeah.
That's who we become as men, bruh.
Yeah.
And bruh, I take my hat off to you for growing. You know what I mean? Like I said, because a lot of brothers are not growing,
Yeah.
and they're not sure how to grow. But you know, you figured it out, man. You figured it out, man.
trying
Through your
every day.
trials,
Yeah.
through your trials and tribulations and things that you've been through. Like you say, your testimony. You got some testimonies, man. And those testimonies is what brought you to where you are today in life, you know.
And I'm
With
gonna
the
tell you
books by
another-
your nightstand.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you another thing I do, man, and I ain't ashamed to say it, man. When I find cats, man, and I look at them and I think they sincere and real, man, I jump on their coattail, man.
Yeah.
I rap them, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, man, how you do that, man?
There you go.
You know, what book you in, man? What's the best book to read for some knowledge in the Bible? I jump on their coattail, man. Because I ain't ashamed to say it, man. I got some mentors, man, at the church. You know, they older guys, you know, but they gonna hold me to the accountability, you know, that I need to be held to, you know. Yeah.
Man, I got so many mentors, man. Let me tell you.
It's good to
man.
have them, man.
It's good to have, bro.
Good to have them, brother.
I got so many mentors, man. I got brothers that I rely on for so many different things. And even if it's business, if you know our interaction is business, I know when I walk away from that interaction, that's somebody I need to be around. You know,
Correct.
that's somebody that he can definitely help me get to where I'm trying to go in life and so many things. So a lot of my mentors, they don't even know that they my mentors. you
Right,
know?
right. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
and speaking of you know, mentor, man, you always been one of my mentors,
thank you,
man.
man.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know if you ever knew that, you know, but I always like, you know, watch the way you move, things that you say, you know, and
So I tell
many
my
things, bro.
youngest son, man, because see, you know, going back to, you know, my childhood, you know, watching them people in the church, you know, I grew up in Pewsville. I was like, you know, I was mixed up, man, you know. So when I became grown, you know, I sort of like had both best worlds. I could maneuver in the street. I could put my shirt in town. You know,
yes, sir. Versatile.
like when I'm telling in my men's ministry group things, man, that I did when I was young teenager, it blew them through the roof.
Yeah, they say, no, man, not you, bro. You ain't that kind of guy.
I say, man, dude, man, I shot at people, and I always get this testimony. Whatever you do in them streets, careful because it's coming back. I shot at a guy before, my son got shot.
Ain't that something?
So man, it's we got to be careful, man. You know,
Gotta be careful.
And then the way I feel now, man, I can't even imagine me hurting a brother, man.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine it now.
You want to hurt nobody, man.
You know.
You want to help people. Man.
Every time I see young brothers, hey brothers, how y'all doing? You know,
Yeah.
I can't imagine it now, man.
That's right.
I can't imagine.
That's right. You want to help people, man.
Yeah.
But that's a good place to be in, man. That's a good mental space to be in, and man, I'm glad that you found that whatever that God had for you in life, man. I'm glad that you found that, bro. I'm glad you built your relationship with God. Yeah, peace. I like that.
Peace,
one.
man.
I'm glad that you found you some peace. I'm glad that you learned how to build your relationship with God, man. And keep it real at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what your heart desires, man. But you know, I love that for you.
But like I say, when I'm in church, man, and I tell my story, man, it's some guys in there got the same story, but they might not be where they need to be in a point in their life where they can tell their story yet.
Facts.
You know, so you know, because you know, our story different from people in the Bible, man. Because you know, everything in the Bible, somebody's living it.
It's already, that's right.
Somebody's living it, man.
That's right. Somebody's living it, and it's already been done, man.
Yeah.
For sure, man. That's why the Bible is so interesting to us, man, because it's exactly what we're going through right now today.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, somebody
100%.
somewhere, for sure.
You know.
Well, Wood, man, I definitely appreciate you stopping by the podcast this evening, man.
Thanks for having me, brother. Glad to be here.
Chop it up, man, and just kick it, man.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you know, we talked about something tonight, man, that, you know, that can help another brother, man. When they view this on, you know, social media or YouTube, wherever the guys are viewing it at, man. Hopefully, you know, things that me and you talked about. Because this is therapy, bro.
Yeah.
This is therapy
100%.
for me and you to sit
And let me
down
throw
and
this
just
out
chop
here.
it
Let
up,
me throw this out here, man. Don't be ashamed to go to therapy, man. You know, to all the brothers out there, you know, and even the sisters, don't be ashamed to go to therapy, man, because you sitting there, you on that couch or you on that chair, whatever, and that person talking to you, man, just sink into your own mind, man. Sink into your own mind and get that out, you know. You know, they always say, you know, the military people was the only ones used to come home who messed up. Man, we messed up coming from home.
That's right. Good God Almighty.
You know,
That's
we
major,
messed up
bro.
coming from home.
That's
So
major.
so get all that stuff out your system, man, so you can help somebody else, man.
There you go, bro.
Get it out your system so you can help somebody else.
I encourage therapy too, man. I think therapy is a great tool to have, man. And, you know, just know that therapy comes in different ways, whether it's paid therapy, whether it's, you know, you're talking to another brother at church, whether you at an actual therapist office, sitting on their couch talking, or talking to your sisters, man. You know, that's therapy as well.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
talking to a brother. Me
Man,
and you sitting down talking.
however it needs to get out to be healed, to have peace, to function, get it out.
Wow. That's dope.
Get it
man.
out.
That's dope.
So, because you know that's cancer, man. When you harboring something, or you keeping something suppressed,
Yes.
it's just eating at you. It's eating at
right.
your soul.
That's right.
You know. My mom asked me one time, "You walk around like ain't nothing bother you?" I said, "You know what? Because it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
We took that weight off.
It's not.
Taking that off.
You know. I took my mom said, you know, some things she gonna take to her grave. I ain't taking nothing to my grave.
Yeah.
You know, whatever is right here, it's right here. I ain't taking nothing. Whatever you want to know, we can talk about
We
it.
can talk about it, man.
We can talk about it. I ain't that deep.
And that's a good mental space to be in.
Yeah, I ain't that deep. You know, because you know, some sessions I go to, man. Family members committed suicide, and they didn't do that all that. I said, man, people don't understand. You got to be a strong individual to take your own life.
Yes, you do.
People think,
gotta
oh,
be
they
the
were weak.
baddest.
I said, man, get out. I said, man, you got to be strong
gotta
to
be
take
strong.
your own life. You know, it's easy to shoot at somebody else.
Bruh, that's a different level of
Man.
commitment. That's a different level of commitment when you commit to taking your own life.
Yeah, man. You know, so I never want to get to a point where I'm feel like I don't want to be here no more. Never want to get to that point, man. Because I look at my grandchildren; they always flashing. You know, like my son bring the grandkids over. you know, and every opportunity, I'm gonna treat them like I did my grandfather. I mean, my grandfather did me.
Okay.
It's a teaching moment.
Teaching moment, man.
It's a teaching moment, man. You know, and you know, I do things, man, that my mother, father didn't do. You know, they didn't come to school and eat lunch with us. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sitting up there in school eating lunch with my grandsons, you know, granddaughters, and laughing with the other kids.
Yeah.
And I say, you know, back in the day, this would have never happened.
That's right.
You know, this would never happen.
One thing, man.
But it's beautiful.
And that's good, man. You know, and hats off to you, man, for being able to do that. But a lot of our mothers and fathers and our grandparents and stuff, they couldn't afford to do that. They was off working. They was off working and trying to provide and trying to do other things. And that goes along with our mental health nowadays too. They didn't have time to invest in their mental health.
Right.
Now, me and you, we're at a point now in our lives. We say, hey, we need a day off. We're taking a day off.
Facts.
It is what it is.
Facts.
You know, if my mental ain't right and I need time to just relax and kick it, hey, I'm taking a day off.
Yeah. But you know, you're 100% right, man. You know, because I had to come to grips with that, man. You know, I had to come to grips with, when I look at my life now, analyze it, and I try to measure it up with my mother and father's life, I can't. Because I can't measure the 60s and 70s to now.
Era. Yeah, different era. Whole
Cannot
different
do it.
era, man. Yeah.
Cannot do it, you know. Like I was telling the young teenager in my men's group Sunday, don't take on adult stuff. This kid's 15. Don't take on adult stuff. Be a kid.
Be a kid.
And love your dad and love your
yeah,
mom.
Be in that moment.
Period.
Yeah.
You know.
There you go.
Period. You know, don't take on adult stuff, man, you know, because adult life is real.
Yeah. And I'm sure that meant a lot to hear you say that to him. You know what I mean?
It's real.
Because he need to know that.
Yeah.
He need to know that.
You know, yeah. Because you know the thing is, I hear a lot of older people always talking about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I don't want to be that, man.
Yeah.
You know, like I tell my mom, I'm living in the now.
Yeah.
You know, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, I ain't got time for that.
Being present in the moment.
Yeah.
Being present
I'm living
in
for the
moment,
now.
man. And that's another thing we got to learn too. We got to learn how to be present in the moment.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what life is happening at. Life is happening right now in this moment.
And that's one reason I don't like to make plans.
Okay.
Because you know, I like and there's a reason why I do that. People, you got to make plans. I mean, now if something is due on a particular day, okay, that's different. But I'm not gonna allot something for a particular time.
Okay.
You know, I don't do that because I'm something may come up that has precedence over that. So and for me to say, oh, I ain't gonna do it, I'm gonna do this. I ain't gonna make no plans because in my mind, if this right here becomes before that, I'm doing that.
Yeah, I got to go with that. Yeah, for sure.
know.
That's why I always like the term pencil in. You know, with
Facts.
the pencil, you know, I'll
I
pencil
brain it
in.
in.
Huh?
I brain it
Brain
in.
it in. Give it in your brain.
Yeah, I brain it in.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, but with the pencil, you know, it has an eraser. Okay, this was my plan. I penciled that in, but I can erase that if I need to. You know.
And another thing, man, the reason why I do that too, man, because I watched my grandmother when she got sick, man. She struggled to try to remember to tell me stuff. Pay this, pay that. So they've always been in my mindset. And I said, you know what? I'm going to always challenge myself to stay on point, you know, what I need to do tomorrow. You know, I mean, that may be a flaw, a character flaw, that it may be. But when I seen my grandma.
That might be more of a quality, bro. I don't know if that's a flaw.
I mean, I don't know what it is, but that's what's happening.
Okay.
When I watched my grandmother used to sit there and bang her head to try to remember to tell me what to do, how to handle this business, how to handle business, take her here and there. I was like, you know, I gotta stay sharp.
I want to stay sharp.
I gotta stay sharp.
Man, I talked to one of my coworkers one time, and he was saying, I was telling him, I don't want to get old. I said, man, I don't want to get old because in my mind, I don't want to have to depend on anybody. You know, we get old, our health start failing and things like that, right? And you know, it's coming. It's coming.
100%.
So I just struggle with the fact of having to depend on somebody to do things for me, right? And my coworker said, he said, man, I'm okay because I got people around me that's gonna take care of some things for me, right? He said, but I always want my mind to be sharp. He said, I don't care how old I get, I want my mind to be sharp.
Well, that's the
And I said,
independence
man.
of man, I think, because when I look at women, like my grandmother, she didn't mind me giving her a bath, stuff like that. I was like, I can't have my daughter giving me a bath,
That's right.
I think that's us men.
That's the pride thing.
Yeah, that's but I think that's with all men, man. The growing. I don't think we have a problem with growing older. I think the problem is we have a problem with our mind diminishing.
Yes.
I think that's the problem.
Yes.
That's
and
why
our independency diminishes.
Yeah.
We don't want we want to stay independent like we are.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Wood, thanks again, man. I appreciate you coming through, man, and
right. Glad to
chopping
be
it
here.
up, man.
Yes, sir.
I can't thank you enough, brother.
Yeah, you know it.
I appreciate you, brother.
Stay